welcome to an all-new episode of the Creators Outlet right here on the Creators Outlet podcast channel on YouTube. This will be available any place that you can download or listen to a podcast later on this evening, Thanksgiving evening, in case you get really bored and all you smell is turkey and all you want to do is drink beer. That was me. Never mind. Let's welcome some friends to the chat, as well as our special guest this evening, Odin Dasko. What's up, dude?
Not much. How's it going, Will?
We have the infamous man himself, Mo Biggs, is here.
Oh, yes, my favorite.
Tugs Web Guy Ray.
My other favorite
is here. and we're bowing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Good to see you guys. Always good to see Mo and Ray. Good people. Some of the best, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just saying that because they're here. Like,
I will say other stuff when they leave.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Cliff Notes bio of you.
Of moi? Of me?
Of you, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Where do we begin? I was born a poor black child. Never had any rhythm. Oh, wait, that's the jerk. Sorry.
Okay.
No. I'm a Coloradan. I'm a father, former musician. I do structural design engineer packaging, which is glorified origami. And I love making this comic book that I've been making. And I'm a big fan of horror in general, but especially like what I call fun horror, which is kind of camp and kind of tongue-in-cheek and funny. Horror comedies a lot. And then a lot of the older comics that were in that vein. So that's the kind of thing. And people said, hey, make a comic book that you would want to read. And that's what I'm doing. So
cool. Now, is this the first book that you've done yourself?
It is. I mean, I've made, it's the first one that'll be published. We'll put it that way. I mean,
okay.
I've been making comics since I was a little kid, like stapling papers together and stuff like that. But yeah, this will be the first published comic I've ever made. And,
I have some of those old school.
Oh yeah,
indie guy. Xerox runoffs with the staples and the cuts and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a lot of that artwork, it's just mimeographed, but I mean, they were both, kind of like suspense horror books. And
yeah,
the artwork was good. The lettering, not so much.
Yeah.
And when you photocopy stuff over and over again on the same printer, it starts to run a little bit, but they were only like 12 pages. So 6 pages cut in half. So
right. Yeah, it reminds me like the old school band days when I was like getting all this like underground thrash and death metal, and it was like cassettes, and people were like photocopying their little cassette liner, just a little piece of paper with the songs on it and a little drawing. And usually the drawings were like just that gory, like black and white, just kind of artwork that looked like they got their buddy who could draw semi-okay to like, hey, just make like a gory album cover. And and then like the old zines and stuff like that, where they were just kind of like pamphlets, like just trying to promote bands. And I love that old stuff.
Oh yeah, I worked with a lot of bands, so I was always getting their flyers and going around to the club the week before to hang them up.
Oh yeah,
2 or 3 days in a row. And
yeah, that's a whole kind of hustle that, I mean, I don't miss it because I didn't like talking to people. But that said, like, there's a part of me that misses it because nowadays everything is like this. It's online, it's streaming or something like that. And there is an element of like just beating the streets and hoofing it, and hustling that way that I kind of miss, So I think now that cons have opened back up, it's been about a year of them being opened back up, depending, some of them even longer. But get back to that kind of like in-person kind of feel. which I've never done. So I'm excited to do that here soon.
So you got to start doing cons with this book starting next year?
Yeah, we're hoping so. So James Rock, who made Magnificent Bastards, and he founded Broken Compass Comics, is my partner in this whole thing. He lives in Canada, so we're trying to coordinate how we're going to do cons, because I'm in Pacific Northwest, he's in Toronto, and it's like, which ones can we do feasibly and afford, all that kind of stuff. So try to map it out for next year when we have actual copies in hand. So,
yeah, figure out who can sneak over what border where.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely if he's in Canada, I'll let him do the Canada stuff. I got to look into it again, but I have a little bit of issue getting into Canada, so kind of a sordid past. What is the?
I feel your pain.
Yeah, it happens.
It's like, you were arrested once when you were 16.
Yeah, they don't care.
16 and drunk. You can't come in here. Oh, good.
Well, if that's all they had against me, then I'd be like, yeah.
Might have been a little bit more.
They're like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, but it was all pre-20. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. So, who has influenced you the most, like, on the indie scene?
On the indie scene, let's see. Well, I guess probably the easiest answer for me would be to say Brian Pulido, just because I think he really started a lot of it in a lot of ways and kind of showed a pathway of how to like create an independent book, find your audience, and keep them. So when I was younger, I got an issue of Evil Ernie, because back then it was called Chaos Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think it goes by Coffin Comics, but
yeah.
It was Chaos Comics back then. It happened to get into my local comic book shop. But when I saw that as like a young metalhead, like I said, those album covers and everything, I saw Evil Ernie and I went, this is the comic I've been waiting for, you know? He had that big smiley face and he's like a zombie looking dude with long hair, leather jacket. And so I just ate that up. And then Lady Death came out and I was about 14. So seeing all that giant TNA was just what the doctor ordered as well. So, but it was a big eye opener. It was kind of around the Image time. So Image and everything was a big eye opener too, because all of a sudden there was like, oh, there's more than just Spider-Man and Batman and Hulk and Superman. You know, it was like, there's people making their own shit. So, yeah. But he was like right at the forefront of that, because I saw the comic. I went, this is pure independent. And somehow I stumbled on it and I love it. So
Mo says Canada's laws on dudes doing each other in public have become incredibly lax. You may want to apply for a pardon.
Have they now? How do you know this, Mo?
Shitbird Militia said hail.
What's up, Shitbird Militia? Good to see you as well.
Tank Ferret.
The sagacious scallywag. Good to see you.
I'm glad you said that, because I was like, oh, how do I say that? I'm like,
well, I usually co-host on 80s Made Consumers channel, and he stumbles through so many chats.
Oh yeah.
So watching him try to say sagacious scallywags that's a good one.
Well, I don't know. He's doing the coffee route now, so
that's true, but I don't know that helps his reading ability.
No, probably not. Probably not.
He just won't pull up the same chat 20 times in a row.
That's okay. It just means my logo comes up more times.
There you go. We already said hi to Will. Stop.
We know he's here. Let's push on with this. Were you into You were into comics, in your younger years, because you said you used to draw your own, staple them together, and everything.
Yeah.
What grabbed your eye and held your attention way back in those younger days?
Oh, well, it's 100%. Well, 95, 97%. I'll just say 100%. The artwork. I was drawing all my life, and even in kindergarten, there you could kind of see the separation from the haves and have-nots of people who could draw and those couldn't. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's like, we want Odin on our team. He'll draw best. Whenever I had like class project or something. but I wasn't really into comic books. I was into sports and stuff like that. And I was collecting sports cards. And then my buddy, he was into comic books, but I didn't care. And then we were at this flea market, and they had like the glass display case with all the trading cards. It was like football cards, baseball cards. There was this box of comic cards, Marvel's first series comic cards. And
yes.
Nobody was behind the counter. They were hiding. I just snagged a bunch of those, ran off. And then when I got home and opened them, the little thief that I was impressed by how cool the imagery was. And I don't know why it took me so long, because I was drawing all the time and everything was kind of comic book style as a kid. But that was the big eye opener. And then my buddy had like long boxes of comics. And then I was like, dude, I want to see some of your comics. So then, yeah, that was what caught me. But it was always the artwork. And that was right when, let's see, who was really big? Well, it was like the Image guys were pretty big. Liefeld was on New Mutants, and Jim Lee was doing like some Wolverine and starting on X-Men. And yeah, it was a cool time. McFarlane blasting onto the scene. So.
Oh, the multi-toy billionaire.
Yeah, this predates all that though.
Oh,
who would have guessed?
He's making so much money now; it's ridiculous. And somehow he's convinced people to collect digital McFarlane toys.
Digital toys.
Digital toys.
I have not heard of such a ridiculous thing.
I think that is, a rebranding for NFTs.
Well, yeah, that's like.
But it's not really an NFT because it's. Oh, I'm just going to give everybody this exact same one. You can just play around with it, move it around on your computer.
So is it a 3D model, basically?
I think it is.
I would guess.
So I've been trying to figure it out, but I didn't feel like reading like 12 pages of the PR he sent me. So,
yeah, that's the funny thing is like all that money, and we're still not getting a new Spawn movie like I've been promised for the past 10 years. So,
I just want him to finish the old Spawn animated for HBO.
Well, that would be great.
We all know he's not going to, but
no. I bet Keith David could still do it.
Yeah, I binge watched that thing the other week on HBO Max. Too.
That was one of the best. It might have been the best comic book animation ever made. I mean, there's been some decent ones, but man, that one was so spot on.
Yeah, it was like
Sam and Twitch.
Yeah, it was such a leap. I mean, back in the 80s, we had the original heavy metal movie, which was mind blowing.
Oh yeah. That one's the best ever.
And hey, big cartoon titties. So
that again, I saw it when I was like 12 or something, and you get that feeling like you're watching something you're not supposed to.
Yeah. I couldn't understand why my mother would not bring me to a cartoon movie when I was a kid. And then I saw the entire trailer and turned like 6 shades of red. I think I was like 7. And I was like, Mike, can we sneak into this? He goes, no, we can't.
I had a girl.
Because me and Craig tried last week. I'm like, oh, okay.
I had a girl I was dating. And, when you first start dating somebody, you're like, here's the shit I'm into. And they're, and I'm like, let's watch heavy metal. It's like a big influence on me and everything. And she was offended that I showed it to her. I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. If you're offended by this, I just don't think.
If you're offended by this, then you're not going to make it past what I'm planning on showing you later. So.
Yeah, I just said, wait till we get in the bedroom. Then you'll really get offended.
What are you doing? Well, I'm going to really offend you.
Yeah. I'm going to go stern on you. Stern.
My name is Hanover Fist.
Hanover, that's what I do. I'll do the Hanover Fist move on her. That's called a grower, not a shower.
Chris Fisk, hail. Damn, I keep doing that.
What's up, Chris Fisk? Good to see you.
I'm sure you do. So
Oh, you're Res B Graham, VR Graham, or whatever the fuck that is. I can't read that.
Some word with way too many consonants and not enough vowels.
Yeah, it looks Swedish or something.
Yeah,
but it's good to know that then I can just say, "Oh, it's Chris Fisk," and not have to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's way better. So, where did you pull the stories for this book from?
Where did I pull them from? My noggin.
From the recesses of your mind.
Yeah, no, I wish I had a better answer. No, no, literally, like, you know, if you're a creative person, you have like a bunch of stupid ideas just like rolling around, and it's like a bunch of balloons in the sky. You pull one down and you start looking at it and you go, "Ah, that one sucks," and you throw it back and you grab the next one, and yeah, eventually you go, "Okay, this one's the one to run with." So in this book, we got two short stories. So I'm a big fan of short stories always. And somebody was giving me a hard time there because the first one's 58 pages long, the first story. And they're like, "That's a short story?" I'm like, well, if I wrote it as a novel, it would be a short story. Or if I wrote it in prose, you know, not as a comic book, it would be a short story for sure. You know, yeah, 58 pages in comic book is not that long. You know what I mean?
Mo says that you gave your noggin an unconditional shove into the deepest reaches of his inner darkness.
Mo, stop making everything gay, man. I'm tired of it.
Oh, at least he hasn't brought the gerbils into it yet.
Oh. All right, we got to clean up your show a little bit. We're not going into gerbils, man. Come on. Richard Gere showing up. Who knows what's going to happen?
Oh.
Wasn't he the one, Gerbilgate?
Yeah, he'd be paying us to come on. He can't get work anymore.
Well, it's a hard sell after the gerbil story.
Yeah, I know. And then, even worse when South Park makes fun of you with the gerbil.
Yeah, they went
with the Lord of the Rings theme song to it. And
I was just about to say they went in deep on him, and I was like, well, phrasing, yeah.
Oh yeah, they got into the upper.
But I will say, Mothman Prophecies was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that one.
And Officer and a Gentleman was pretty cool. Yeah.
So just from looking at the book, everybody can tell that you're heavily influenced from the old EC books.
For sure. I look at that stuff and I see, to me, it's like screams cool. It screams fun. It screams like bloody gore. But like, and not just EC, definitely the EC horror titles, but like later Warren Publishing did Eerie and Creepy. And I actually read more of those than EC stuff because it's just a lot harder to find EC stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they were the same vein, I guess. Yeah, I like short stories. I like campy, horrific humor. So, yeah, those were the best.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the old Harris Elvira, not Elvira.
Oh yeah.
Vampirella stuff.
Yeah, Vampy was hot.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
The stuff they did in that first issue. Is this legal to print?
All right. I'm afraid. Well, I have to admit that I never read that first issue. I just remember the cover, the Frazetta cover. That was one of the coolest things I ever saw. And no, I did play hooky, but I didn't go snowboarding. I just was lame and watched Westerns. Mo will love that. I watched Westerns today and drew. So,
well, it could have been worse. You could have watched manga and drew.
That's true. I'll do you one better, Mo, and not watch manga. I'll watch Westerns.
Be back in a bit, guys. Sorry, everyone is streaming at the same time. I know, shocking, isn't it?
Dude, you're gonna leave us for someone else, though. I mean, do what you got to do, Ray. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
We'll amuse ourselves.
Actually, I am gonna hold it against you, but
with Chris and Mo and Chris's 17 other accounts.
Yeah, right.
So we were talking the other night in the little trivia match. with the
Turd
song
Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson, and I soft pitched you a song in your wheelhouse that that you said Mo also said should have been the song.
Yeah, he was quick with that when he heard the title of the book. He's like, "Here's your theme song." Somebody to Shove. Good old Soul Asylum.
Yeah.
I love that opening guitar riff.
I know, it's just so good.
Yeah. The grandfather, she is the grandfather clock.
Yeah, it's just ridiculously good. Oh man!
Oh, I love Guilt Tripping You, Ray. That was great.
Okay.
Waiting by the phone.
I have like so many tabs open up here. I'm trying to figure out. There we go.
Well, as I was getting closer to launching it, I kept like finding. I was doing like the 12 days of Shove songs or something like that. So I was finding all these different songs with Shove in the title. The final one being my old band, which I actually had a song called Unconditional Shove. So that was where I originally used the term and played that song. So some decent songs. I remember Take This Job and Shove It by Johnny Paycheck. That was a good one.
Oh yeah. You said that
Shove
on
It.
more than one occasion in my team.
Deftones.
But this here.
There she be.
There she be, Captain. 59 backers, 35 days left.
Yeah. We're just one digital backer away from being an even 3,000.
Yeah. Well, come on, somebody in Australia.
Right.
I know we mentioned hooky, but come on, hockey.
Where's hockey?
Come on, we all
10,
know
$10, man.
Look,
You can spare 10
we all
bucks.
know that the digital tier is the Australian variant. So
Yeah,
because who wants to pay $70 in shipping cost for a comic book?
that's true. But I mean, I've got a few like international backers that like bought books, not the digital. And I was like, oh, wow. Man,
It's
well,
like,
I get it out to you.
Did they even read the fine print with that?
Well, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But nonetheless, we'll get them their copies.
Mo, you have to admire Johnny Paycheck's determination. What do you mean the name Johnny Cash is already taken? But it didn't stop him.
Johnny Chained would have
Joe
been good.
only likes me for my love shove.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Love Shove, yeah. Now, my favorite pun that I heard was from Arrogant Ape. He says he uses unconditioner on his hair. I was like, that's a good pun. I like that one. The shove puns are all there all day long, but to use unconditional and unconditioner, that was clever.
Especially with double A,
Yeah, well,
he's
that's a lot of unconditioner on that hairy ass body.
He's just one step away from ARO, so ARO is much cooler, and
Well, maybe he is ARO.
Now you're going to offend Mo, and he's going to leave.
Oh, yeah, I've been close before.
Yeah, he's probably got like 5 screens open, watching everybody else that's streaming too.
Well, that's true. Potentially. As long as you show him love, he'll probably hang out.
So let's take a look at this cool trailer of yours.
Yeah.
Pure speculation, just an educated guess, I'd say that man is alive.
Come with me and see what I see. The terrible worlds that lie between. The realm observed and the realms unseen, where the dark things live while you dream. Join me. Fight on the beholder as I drag your mind into those shadows and corners where you can see like me those things you don't want to believe. Unconditional Shove, the new horror sci-fi graphic novel anthology series, featuring 2 stories and over 80 pages of compelling, action-packed, terrifying fun. In our first story, I'll take you to a place where the otherworldly is made manifest. In this place, the abstract permeates the cosmology. In this place, your fears will construct the most terrifying animations. Because in this place, monsters exist. And in our second story, we stumble upon an ancient friendship between monster and man. And you'll see why it might be best to keep your monsters close and your enemies even closer. In With Friends Like These. Unconditional Shove Volume 1. A graphic novel for all you lovers of the strange, macabre, and creepy things that we all know exist in the shadows of our universe. Unconditional Shove. Back in today on Indiegogo.
All right, let's give credit to the trailer makers. I think you're muted. So you want to try that again with your microphone on?
No. You were just gonna let me go that long? Damn.
No, I said, I think you're muted.
Oh, I didn't hear you there.
And then I went and refreshed the page. And I'm like, he's still talking. I'll just let him go.
That's all right. I've done worse. Way stupider than that. By the way, Chris Fisk, that might be in running for the best new pun. Unconditional shovel. So anyway, let me say this all again. Yes, I was muted. Abra's 2 cents. She has a YouTube channel called Abra's 2 cents, and she is awesome. She does review videos. I guess she's doing like game streaming now, but just a delight. She's awesome, and she also co-hosts on 80s Make Consumers channel as well. But she did all the editing work on the trailer, and then I did the voiceover. The music was an old band of mine, and then obviously all the imagery was from the book. So yeah, that's who was involved. But really, Abra's 2 cents just like killed it. She's awesome. But the last thing I said before I realized I wasn't talking was she's also available to do trailers if somebody's looking, because she did kind of want to make a side hustle out of it. I'm like, well, you really kicked ass on this one for me. So if there is other opportunities out there, just throwing it out for her sake, because she was awesome.
With Friends Like This is about a famed actor, Richard Fear, who was locked alone in a pet shop overnight. There is no pretty woman waiting beneath the wings, but a new definition of hamster hole.
Oh man, that sounds like a Shove story right there.
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't call it With Friends Like These, even though that's too on the nose.
Yeah.
Bretsky.
Bretsky the Great. Wonder who that could be, huh?
I'm thinking he was a hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally delete my message. Well, Ray, it's also good to see you back. I see you came to your senses and came back to hang out. Thank you, Ray.
Ray left? Oh, sorry, Ray. That's as close as I get to an EBS type insult. So,
Yeah, that was a
Rob, you're
like
here. I didn't even know you were here.
a Rickles kind of thing.
Oh yeah. So you've got a color and a black and white edition.
Yes, sir.
And which one is selling the best, or are they both kind of like neck and neck?
Well, I think individually the color is selling better. The colors. That's not a bad. Individually, the color version sells better. But the most backed here has been this combo pack, which is your best bang for the buck because it's cheaper than buying them separately if you were to do both versions. You save $10. But I think a lot of people are like me, where I just want to see both. I want to see this book. I've seen it in black and white because I'm doing all the line art, but see a published version in black and white and then the color version, because they are completely different experiences. It's like night and day what color does to these images. So, but it was originally created to be a black and white book. So, and then somewhere along the line, I went, no, let's get a colorist on board, and got Damir Rosic, amazing, awesome kid who just has been killing it with the colors. He gets the look and aesthetic that we're trying to go for, and yeah, dude's awesome. And his enthusiasm for doing it has been one of the funnest things. It's like, infused me with like new life on this project because he's like so excited to get new pages and color them. So
Yeah. The chat just amusing themselves.
Yeah, well, they're amusing me as well. I'll look over and I'll be like, yes, thank you guys for these little zingers. They're like Statler and Waldorf, Mo and Chris.
Yeah, I know. and Bretsky, aka Mo. You could have thrown in the digital version and then claimed you saved $20.
That is a good point. God damn it, Mo. Where were you when we were making this campaign? We didn't consult the master himself, and
I know, right?
that actually is a good idea, because then you get the digital version and you would save $20 in theory.
And tell us about your version of a crypt keeper here on the cover.
Oh yeah, that is Vidon the Beholder. He's the crypt keeper-esque character, if you will. So, but I always liken him to like the Watchers from Marvel.
Yeah,
and basically he's like just interdimensional being who sees things throughout space and time, and then basically just introduces us readers to like the most fantastic stories he finds throughout the different dimensions and planes, and
throughout the cosmos.
He's Carl Sagan, basically.
Carl Sagan, and and he looks very tall. Is he very tall, or is it just you wanted him larger than life on the cover?
Yeah, I want him larger than life on the cover. Now, that said, I haven't specifically determined a height for him, but I do imagine him being taller than a human, than your average human, at least.
Than a male human.
Yeah. No, and some of his look was actually, especially the color. I was like, I want him to look like Doc Savage.
Yeah, that's a lot of bronzer.
Oh yeah, the Man of Bronze was too cool not to throw a little nod his way.
It's it's like a Coppertone commercial from the 70s.
Right. Well, it's like looks like spray on tan.
Oh God! Please, I tried it once.
No shit.
I was like 21. I'm like, I'm whiter than white.
Yeah.
And I'm Irish, so I don't tan. I just burn.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, I've seen you. It looks like you have a tan." I'm like, no, those are just millions of freckles growing on a daily basis while my arm hangs out the window. I go, so my left arm looks kind of tan, but my right arm is just way too bright.
Your left arm is an evolutionary jump compared to your right arm.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
I saw your arm hanging out the window. I thought you were Portuguese or something. I'm like,
well, that happens to me,
maybe.
but that's more just from tanning from that left arm. But yeah, no, I had a girl I was with, and she did that, and it would look fine, except for I could see where like maybe missed a spot or something. I'm like, oh, well, that looks horrible.
Hey, Vince.
Howdy, good evening, Vince.
Does he say boy and throw chrome spheres?
Yeah, he does. Dripping alike.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's much better than dropping alike.
Yeah. Dripping alike. Well, you better mop that shit up afterwards, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, you make a anthology book and you do this horror style, because even the non-Tales from the Crypt, the Haunt of Fear had the old witch, and then Vault of Terror, I can't remember what his name was, the Creep, I think it was the Creep. They always had and even some of the other ones, they always had a narrator, somebody who kind of goes, here's our stories, Rod Serling-esque,
yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, gotta have that. It wouldn't feel right without him.
Now, this is up to what, like 88 pages now?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet. I mean, right now I'm working on page 66, which I've been working on for a while now because I've been streaming too much. And also I have other irons in the fire that I have to take care of drawing wise. But yeah, I mean, at the moment it's going to be just over 80, 82, 83, but it kind of depends on how I stretch out the end of the story, because it could be longer, but that's if I want bigger splash pages or something.
Make a bigger
Which I may do
page.
because I think they're fun,
Yeah, I used to love when it wasn't a thing, and you would get them like on rare occasion, like you'd be reading your like ASM or Incredible Hulk or something, and then you open it up, and the two metal pages are just like this one enormous like battle scene or something.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be like, whoa.
No, I mean, I definitely have that in there. I couldn't do a 80-page book without a 2-page spread somewhere in there. So
Oh yeah.
And there's a few good splash pages, even if they have other panels on them. They're still more or less splash pages, A couple 9-panel pages, it's like a good mix. Oh, thank you. Likewise.
And celebrate the fall of the MCU.
That would be something to give thanks for.
Oh yeah.
Disney's utter failure.
Yeah.
And their utter failure as well.
They're just utter.
Make their milk sour.
Yeah. But onto better things. Like Unconditional Shove.
Yeah, so this is story number 1. Monsters exist. Got a little 6-page panel there just showing the transformation of this porcelain baby doll into an unthinkably gross beast. It actually gets even worse after those panels, but
it makes you think of any little entitled girl in the carriage at the local supermarket.
No, yeah, I've seen this. This is a first-hand experience.
I've seen this, and I remember saying, man, when these kids grow up, we're going to be screwed. Hey, guess what? They've grown up. We're screwed.
And here we are. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here's your leaders.
2 weeks to slow the curve.
2 weeks to slow the curve.
They counted wrong.
Oh my gosh.
I
What a
love
weird
this image,
2-year
though.
period that was.
Oh, it was terrible. And now, case in point, everybody has a podcast.
Thanks. Yeah. That's true. That gives me plenty to, go show my book on though. So thank you, Will, for picking up what the government put down.
Oh, look.
Oh, look, boredom.
Thanks, what am I going to
government.
do? Well, they shut down comic book conventions. What the?
Yeah.
So instead, I will just sit in my wheelchair online and talk to comic book creators on my computer.
Well, that's not that bad. But I do remember, like, they were doing some weird ass shit. I live in Washington State, which is kind of like they were one of the more progressive, like, stupider ones.
Yeah.
And I had this karaoke bar. I'd go there all the time and sing. I got to know the owners and the people who did when this whole happened, they couldn't do karaoke because of the microphones and shit. They couldn't have people at the bar. You could sit at tables. Then you had to have like a table between you and all this weird shit. But then they took away the pool tables, took away the dartboards. And so the guy got no business, even though he could finally open back up for business, but nobody came in. So I was just stopping by, getting a drink and hanging out with him. And then I would give him like $30 tips. I'm like, I love you, man. I want you to stay open. I buy one beer and I give him $30 tip. But that was rough times, because like there was like pool table right there. And I'm like, I'm bored. I'm having a drink. Why can't I just play some damn pool? It's the stupidest stuff.
Nope, we can't have everybody playing with those balls.
That's right. You touch those balls. Everybody's touching those balls.
Yes, ball touches Chris Fisk. 6 panels and SJW meme. It kind of is.
I want to see somebody turn that 6-panel block there, that transformation, into a meme that gets viral. As long as Shove is always credited, I don't care.
I was unconditionally shoved, and then I noticed the transformation of another local Karen. Well, it says, first we had the Western debacle. Then last time it was an hour of Phil, Jason, and Odin's comic collection show and tell.
Well, we enjoyed it, Mo, just because you were going absolutely bananas, pissed off. Oh, it was just a stream where we were like talking about Simon Bisley, and then so everybody pulled out all their Simon Bisley comics, and I get it. It was stupid, but I was drinking and I like Simon Bisley, so shit happens. And then the Western debacle was Aldous and Steve Dye talking about Westerns for an hour, which ones were the best and who produced them and who acted in them and why they were impactful culturally.
You could have dragged it out longer. All you had to do was grab a hold of Graham Nolan.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would have loved that. Well, like I said, I spent my whole day watching Westerns today, so that said, I'm not going to talk about it. 3 hours is fair enough. It was more like 3 hours.
3-hour tour.
Yeah, let's talk about Westerns. It's just a 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray was there. Yeah.
I was there.
I was there too.
And this day, and
where were you in the Great Western debacle of 2022?
Look, it's no debacle. I love Westerns.
I did too. It was funny. It was like an old man moment, though.
I actually just watched a documentary on called Prisoner Number One, and it was about Machete. Trejo. And his dad used to watch Westerns all the time. And they'd watch them on TV, and they thought John Wayne was like, a real root him, toot him, shoot him up.
Oh, they thought he was an actual badass.
Yeah, they thought he was an actual badass. They didn't know he was like an actor.
That's the thing. I watched that. I'm like, he pulls it off well. Like I could see that. Like you would think he was like that in real life, but it's like maybe he wasn't. I don't know. So I just watched The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and it's like all this machismo with him and fucking Lee Marvin, and that shit was awesome. But enough about Western. It's a spare mo.
I loved it when the kid said, "I can't swim," and John Wayne picked him up and he towed him into the lake.
In the pool or the lake.
And then the mother admitted she couldn't swim either, and he grabbed her too.
Well, the part that cracks me up is that his character's not only was he not afraid of anything, he would get pissed off at the idea of people being afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like other people being afraid. He's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Buck up, Pilgrim. You're going in the lake.
He says, Will, there's a difference between watching a Western and listening to people talk about Westerns for 3 hours. No structure, just rambling.
He's still traumatized.
Chris Vick. Trejo tried to rob a bank with a hand grenade.
Wow, that's one way.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't loaded.
It wasn't loaded.
Or it was a dud or something. I can't remember. But they used to use the hand grenade, and they used to go into the liquor store that got robbed like 5 times a day. So they would get like indiscriminate amounts of, pocket change out of this place that's still there and operating to this day.
Yeah.
But their gun, he had a gun.
Okay.
It was like a 38.
Yeah.
But it was broken because he didn't have any bullets in it. But if he didn't hold it with 2 hands just the right way, the entire gun would fall apart.
Where is it?
It was in documentary. It's on Tubi.
Oh, is that the Trejo documentary?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Prisoner Number 1.
Right.
But it was pretty funny.
Yeah, Mo, don't leave. We're done talking Westerns.
We're done talking Westerns, really.
Let's talk about Danny Trejo. And no,
I wish he was on the East Coast, because I understand he's got like a fleet of taco trucks, and they're like amazing tacos.
Trejo tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I imagine they're better than, what do they call that? No, I can't think of the term. Taco Bell, basically.
Yeah.
Friggin' why is that term eluding me? The American Mexican Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. We go back to Westerns. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did, Mo. You're a trooper.
You did last longer than I expected.
Chris Fisk says, my Korean blood boils at the thought of people trying to rob stores. Makes me want to get on the roof for some target practice.
Well, what about your Jewish blood?
Oy vey.
Yeah, like, take my money.
That still makes him want to do target practice so he doesn't have to lose his money.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're taking money from you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can accept that.
Not at all.
Between the two, he would turn the tables and
Flip the tables, which is what we all want to do every time a girlfriend or wife doesn't order French fries but eats them off our plate at the restaurant and then smiles at us.
Oh, that doesn't happen to me. I don't share.
Joey doesn't share food.
No, you don't share food. It's one thing you don't share. I mean, if you're like done eating and you got some left and you're like, hey, you want these fries? That's a whole different thing. But yeah, what I ordered is what I ordered.
I'm a fat guy on a terrible diet. If I have a cheat night out and I order fries, especially sweet potato fries. She's gonna get stabbed.
I can't. Not a fan of sweet potato fry. I just don't like sweet potatoes.
Okay.
I'm like, they're not even potatoes. Like, I don't know what the hell they are. They're all mushy and weird. I don't know. Can't handle it. It has a whole wrong flavor to me.
I like them.
I'll eat them. Because I'll eat anything that's put in front of my face and you call it food. But
that's what she told me.
Right.
So we can get both versions for 60.
Yep.
You can get the Australian variant for 10.
Yeah. They like reading on their computers and tablets.
Yeah. You can get the black and white version that is very popular among the artist community. They like to see the line work.
I like black and white for that very reason. I like the reading line work. But there's 10 claimed, which is pretty good. It's actually pretty well spaced out. There's some people who really just wanted the black and white version. But it does have a different
stuff. A lot of horror stuff kind of like thrives in the black and white.
Yeah, it lends itself pretty well, especially if it's like heavy use of the black, you know. If you get like heavy-handed with it, like a lot of those, the EC books are all black and white. The Eerie and Creepies were all black and white. And those artists would get really heavy-handed and just like, which makes sense. I mean, you want it to have a darker look when it's horror. So it all, yeah. And then just in general, I think horror works pretty well black and white, like even in movies and film.
And you've got two different covers, one for the black and white and one for the color. So
yeah. So that's another incentive to get each. They have their own unique covers.
You know, unlike some campaigns that have 37 and a half variants, there's only 2 here.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I imagine the next volume, I'll reach out to some artist friends and get some like special things. But this one, I kind of wanted it to just be like, this is what I do, you know? And so, you're getting my art, because I don't like the feel of like, I like the idea of the person doing the origin or the interiors doing the cover as much as possible. But I get why you do the variant covers and all that, or getting somebody. But sometimes it does feel like a bait and switch or something. You get this amazing cover for some amazing artist, and then sometimes the interiors aren't as good. I'm like, no, it's going to be just me throughout. So.
Yeah. Chris had some of the best tacos from Roach Wagons. I thought it was Ranch Wagons. I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, that makes more sense than Roach Wagons.
Yeah. When the catering trucks, the Roach coaches.
Yeah, the Roach coaches.
Some of them, the food truck industry kind of thrived because they'd have to get around here, they have to get a license for wherever they park.
Right.
So it's like first come, first serve. And then some trucks smartened up. Instead of parking in the same spot every day, they park in a different spot every day. They pay for extra licenses, but they're pulling people from all over the city. You know, if they're like in the capital city, they can pull people from like all over the town.
Now, the ones that I saw that did the best, there's a hot dog dude who would hang out outside of the bars, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, he wouldn't even like pull up shop till like midnight and stay there till 4 a.m. or whatever, however long the drunk stragglers stayed. And the line would be like fucking 50 people, Everybody's like, fuck yeah, I want a hot dog right now.
Oh, I know. The special duty cops hated those guys.
No, I'm sure.
Because it's bad enough trying to get all the drunk college kids out of the bar and out of the area that they're patrolling, air quotes, like somebody else's problem now. Fuck it.
Right.
And then there ended up being like a big beef between the hot dog cart guy and the local Domino's who started sending the most annoying driver down to that area with like bags and bags of just like cheese pizzas, like a full, medium, which is a small Domino's. I don't give a damn what you say.
Yeah, no, medium is too small. But I get it.
For $5 a piece.
Yeah.
Which was ousting the hot dog guy because he was charging $5 a piece for a hot dog.
Dude, this is probably worse than the meth dealers.
I know, right? They're all in it together.
Oh, probably. Well, except that you don't eat when you're on meth, so that doesn't help.
We're all in it together. It's imperative to have at least one cover done by the interior artists. A variant cover should be an alternative. 100% agree about the bait and switch feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's a time and place, like kind of if you're established or something, that's kind of the thing. I was like, this is my first campaign. I don't want it to be like, hey, I paid $10,000 to get some like amazing artists that everybody knows because just to try to sell the book. And maybe that would have helped. I don't know. But like on the same hand, I'm like, that's not how I'm doing things. So
yeah, I paid $30,000 to have Art Germ scribble this thing in my corner box. So please buy into my campaign.
And they just shat on an 11x17 board and said, "Here you go. Thanks for the money."
Oh man, I see a boomerang business opportunity. A cookie and nachos truck that drives around college towns and bars at closing time. They've already got all those, dude.
Yeah, people are doing it. I mean, it's a great idea. If it's not in your neighborhood, maybe you start it up and get it going because, those guys do well. I mean, you have to deal with drunk people, which is sometimes fun, sometimes really fucking annoying. So
all the local colleges to Chris all have, court orders against him. So just leave it at that.
No, it was funny you were talking about like the cops on the beat and like we played a show in Butte, Montana, my old band, and I tell you that was the coolest place I'd ever seen because at most bars you can't walk out with a drink,
Yeah.
These people would walk with a pint glass, like from the one bar. They walk down the road. They'd be just hanging out. They'd walk down the road to the next bar with the pint glass from the other bar. And then there's just all kinds of craziness going on in the streets and everyone hanging out and cops patrolling like crazy, not doing a thing. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, they're just trying to stop fights, right? Like everything else, who cares? As long as there's no fights or violence, who cares? And I was like, this place is awesome.
Yeah. And, they're just there to stop the fights. And, people that are wobbling back and forth like weebles from getting in a car and driving.
Right.
away.
Taking the keys when they need to. Yeah. Like those kind of things. Just like keep the peace. That's all they're there for. They're not there to like bust anyone's balls or like, write unnecessary tickets. They're like, everyone's having a good time hanging out. Let's just keep the peace. Let's keep everyone safe and having fun. And I was like, fuck yeah. Isn't that how it should be? But
yeah, it's like, look, I'm only getting paid $50 an hour to hang around with you guys, and I can't drink. So once in a while, I might, clip somebody in the knees with a nightstick, but that's about all. All those local colleges are the same ones near you. Well, yeah, I know. We're both banned.
He's like, did you see? He's like, no, I couldn't see him either.
Did you see my wanted posters on campus or something? Yeah, in a drive-by, we were driving down the area and I saw him. But
yeah, he was looking for his own picture and he's like, "Oh, Chris made it. He's arrived at my level."
Yeah, I had a bunch of college kids chasing me down the street in my wheelchair van because I yelled out the window, "Men can't get pregnant."
What an odd thing to get mad about, right?
They were all offended. Next thing I know, they're all wearing black hoods and face coverings. And
it's a scientific fact, but whatever.
Brought out the torches and pitchforks.
Yeah, apparently not a science college, the University of Science.
None of them are really, when you think about it.
Well, some still are, but
It's like trans men can get pregnant. Trans men are actually women. We all know this. You just like to argue. That's why I'm not invited over to anybody's house for holidays.
Oh, well, if that's what keeps you from anybody's house, then I'm probably not either. That's some of the dumbest shit. I mean, I was talking about this with somebody else on a stream. I was like, we live in a time where you'll actually see it in a newspaper where, like in a newspaper or in a magazine, it'll say her penis. And you just see it regularly now. Like her penis. What?
What about cookie and notching vendor machines installed into a lift? Uber van will drive you home from the bars and buy some munchies.
I actually like that idea, like being an Uber or Lyft driver where you just like keep like snacks up there, but you charge like an arm and a leg for them. You're like, hey, you guys want some cookies? And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's $5 a cookie,
$5 for a 35-cent bag of Fritos.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
I'll give you one Frito for $1. The rest of the bag is $10.
Yeah. The first one's free.
First one's free. There you go. It's Columbia House crackers.
Oh my God. This is the second time this week somebody called me a cracker. It's all right. Oh my God.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm proud.
Her penis. Well,
See, I've seen that one before.
That's kind of like the before and after. So before I fell ill, I spent about 30 years as a strip club DJ.
Oh, nice.
And a couple of those strip clubs also owned some of those adult video stores.
Yeah, diversify.
And I worked in one of the nicer ones, which basically means not many people ever came in.
Yeah.
So I used to sit there with like stacks of comic books behind the counter and just read comics. Once a week I'd have to haul like an order up like
naked women all around. You are a nerd.
two flights of stairs.
Naked women all around me. Hey, leave me alone. I'm reading my comics.
I used to go sit in the bondage chair and read some chaos comics and stuff.
Yeah. You get your balls whacked a little bit while you read your comics.
Yeah, I didn't care.
I wouldn't care.
I was like, hey, honey, you want a discount? Come here. It worked a few times. Oh. I was like, yeah. But what would happen is in the afternoons, like around 3:30, 4 o'clock, because it's like it was in Rhode Island in Providence. And it's the capital city. So it's like super heavy traffic everywhere. So it's all the girls that worked at the bank next door would come in, peruse the toy wall, giggle a lot.
Right.
Say, what's that for?
Yeah, guy will show.
And then I would, from across the room, with my booming radio voice, explain that was a vibrating cock ring for him. But one day there was a guy in a 3-piece suit, briefcase, everything, and he's just like wandering around the store. And then I notice he's at the he-she rack.
Yeah.
And there were about 12 women over at the toy wall. I'm like, hey, pal, just so you know, those aren't chicks with dicks. Those are dudes with boobs. And he sprinted because there was like an emergency exit door right behind him. We were on the second floor. He ran out and almost died because that exit emptied out onto the main road.
Oh, so he just ran out in traffic?
He ran out in traffic, and luckily he dove back onto the sidewalk. I quickly helped him by running over and shutting off the alarm and locking the doors behind him.
Oh,
so
good.
He had to walk like 3 blocks to get back to his car. I felt so bad. He never bought anything in the store, so he was just looking and taking mental pictures for later on in the evening.
I get it. Yeah, I'm
gonna go home and play whack-a-mole.
I had it was a former friend. He was once a friend, but he worked at Fantasy, which is like a big sex shop in Seattle. And I started a job over in Seattle, and he had started that job. And then I was calling him, and I was like, "Hey, how's your first day of work going?" And he's talking about it like it's just normal job hassle, but he's like, "Dude, I'm tired of picking up these fucking tissues, man." Like, no, he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm telling these guys, no more. You're picking up your own damn tissue." But he's talking about it like so cavalier, like as if I would relate or something. He said when they did his orientation, they walked around and then they went to the room where people would like actually watch a movie, and they're like, "Hey, this is the room where you're fucking watch a movie or whatever and jerk off." Anyway, they like open the door and show him, and this he's like the people turned and looked, and like he's like the shame on their faces.
Shame.
I told him he needs a loudspeaker and just like say that over and over throughout the place. Shame.
Knock on the door. Your mother called for the third time asking you to go home.
Right. Well, then me and a girlfriend I was with, we were down that area of Seattle. We went inside, and the guy who was running the place then looked like the dude, Jeff Bridges from Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had like on a bathrobe with like, I was like, and then we were looking at toys and shit, and then like he's like explaining why one's better than the other. I'm like, dude, could you just go the fuck away? I don't want to know, why you think or why you know so much about all these dildos.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun times.
This is a good one, Chris. Now appearing on stage 3, put your hands together for Crystal. Will, while reading his comics.
Yes.
No, I couldn't do that at the club. Usually I would convert girls that I could get along with, that weren't in need of like 2 boxes of Midol to get through the night. And they would inevitably get yelled at for getting drunk, but they still had to get guys to buy them drinks. So they would get guys to buy them drinks, be like, "I'll be right back. I have to go to the ladies' room." And then they would come to the DJ booth at the end of the night. There'd be like 37 empty glasses in the booth. Be like, "Yeah, I need a tray to bring these back." Okay, Med's kicking in. I'm going to go grab my pillow and pretend it's Odin. Have fun. I know I will.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
Come on, somebody's going to clip that and send it to 80s Made.
Oh, yeah. Well, he already knows.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's not a secret anymore.
It's no secret. Ray, it's not a secret anymore. Your med's kicked in. The cat's out of the bag. Yeah.
So you got the unconditional fan pack for $250.
Yeah, I think we should call that fanny pack now that I think about it. The unconditional fanny pack. Yeah, so that's you get both books, but you also get your choice of interior original art pages from inside the book.
Nice.
Fair enough. So yeah, that's basically anything but the 2-page spread. I'm basically like, if you like an art page, if somebody does back that tier, the first one to back it gets their first choice, And what I'm going to do is ask James, who's lettering and editing the book, and I'm going to ask my colorist, be like, what are your favorite 10? And I'll pick my favorite 10, I'll whittle them down and just say, but so far no one's claimed it. So, but whoever does would get their pick. They would definitely like get whatever page from the book they want, outside of the 2-page spread.
I really like this image on the left with friends like these.
Oh yeah, the Scarecrow. He's a menacing figure there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun one to draw. Like the Scarecrow character himself is fun to draw. I remember a friend of mine, I was drawing a picture of him and he was up on his Scarecrow perch. And he said, "What is your book? The Passion of the Scarecrow?" And I was like, Oh, it does look like a crucifix now that I think about it. But yeah, so with friends like these, it's basically the scarecrow monster. There's a homestead. Him and the homestead owner have some sort of weird symbiotic relationship. And two criminals, we'll just say that, like a Mickey and Mallory type, a guy and a girl. Their car breaks down. They end up at this cabin and end up in a fight for their life after they learn this crazy secret of their rather symbiotic relationship.
OG interior art is a big hit in CG.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not an OG yet. That's why it's not a hit yet. But I will vouch, like, I mean, you could get that scarecrow image, like, and it's a badass page.
Well,
like
if OG stood
thumbnail.
for old guy, then you're there.
There we are.
I am more than there, but I don't draw anything.
Well, I could be this Odin guy,
Yeah, who knows?
which I'm definitely the Odin guy. So
Yeah. 2 versions of the book.
no, I love interior or original art as well, but I mean, it's always a big ask money wise. I know that.
Oh yeah.
But I tried to keep it pretty low, and that's why you also get both copies of the book as well. Because honestly, if I just like were at an art show selling these images, like that scarecrow page, for the time it took, I'd be selling it for like 400.
Oh yeah. So it's a deal now.
It's a deal, and they're never going to be made again. It's never
Yeah.
going to be other one. It'll be the only one
Yeah, because
ever made.
It's traditional art.
That's true. On board. Yep. So
love it.
yeah, that's another thing I don't know if take pride is the right word, but I'll use it. I take pride in the fact that I do a traditional.
Yeah, there's so many people that are just like, no, digital is way easier. I go, yeah, can't really sell digital art afterwards.
You can't sell it afterwards. But the other thing is, like, I'll watch people draw digital and they'll like clip something and rotate it. And then they'll throw like some hatching lines and one won't be like perfect. And then they'll like erase it and they'll like try to get it perfect. I'm like, I could never draw like this, guys. Even when I did draw digitally, it still kind of looked like I was just drawing traditionally because I didn't like do all that stuff, like cropping things and erasing. I mean, I would use the undo button quite a bit, but still, it ended up looking traditional by the time it was done.
Yeah, that's the big get for doing anything digitally. It's like, well, I've got a built-in eraser. I'm not spending nearly as much on Copics in boards. So
that's true. There's less overhead money. I mean, once you spend the money, you're good. Unless you upgrade your tablet or whatever you're using to draw on. So there's that full page of that scarecrow.
I love this slideshow.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was a good idea to keep the never-ending scroll from happening. I want to show interior pages. And a lot of these are splash, but it's like, again, anyone who did the original art tier could pick any of these pages and it would be yours. Obviously, the color ones would be black and white. But
Yeah. The
colors are done digitally.
the image of the giant baby doll that's going to be coming up reminds me a little bit of Akira.
Oh yeah. No, I could see that. Like when he wakes up in bed and having that hallucination from
from the other kids.
Yeah. Oh, that scene was great. That was like really when the terror starts too.
It really starts to sink in. You're like, what?
Yeah. Like shit's getting real. The soundtrack on that part too. That was when it got heavy.
That when that movie came out, it for me it pushed Ninja Scroll down like a half a notch.
Yeah, except I saw Akira first, so I think it came out first. But yeah, then I saw Ninja Scroll and I was like, okay, this is badass, but it had totally different vibe.
Yeah.
They're both anime and all that, or Japanimation, as we used to say.
Yeah, it's Japanimation, and then all of a sudden it became manga. And I mean, forgive me, Mo Biggs, but I see the lore of manga because one, not only do they have buy one get one, or buy two get one, or buy three pay half price, or
Right.
some kind of like ridiculous sale on stuff. But in that lot, you get stuff like, Berserk.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Berserk is kind of an outlier a little bit, or Berserker.
Yeah.
Is it Berserker? I can't remember because I don't really read mangas. But the one thing I notice about them is they are made cheaply, and they're not really made for collectability.
Yeah,
so that's the difference between one of a few, but that's one of the differences between American comics and mangas. That we sell ours with this kind of like intent or this mindset of collectability. Mangas are meant to be read, which I actually appreciate that mindset. But
yeah, they're all black. They're all like black and white for the most part.
yeah,
But they're around 100 pages for like $10.
right. Well, and they're smaller. You just throw them in your
they're
backpack or
compact.
something. Yeah,
like just slightly larger than a paperback novel.
right.
But
again, like they're meant to be like read
Yeah.
and abused, like a paperback novel. You just throw it in your backpack and go or something. Whereas like an American comic, you're like, oh, I don't want to bend it up or mess it up.
yeah,
Keep it in a bag
nowadays,
and board
back when I was a kid, we used to roll them up, put them in our back pocket.
sure.
Hop on our bikes and take off, and then we all go hang out and start swapping them back and forth. And
I was talking about being a thief. Like I remember we would take them from this shop, and we actually had freaking fanny packs because this was back when people actually did that. But we would fold them in half, like just bend them in half and stuff them in our fanny pack, and run out the store like that.
wow. Chris says Ninja Scroll blew my mind. That doesn't take much. The opening scene will rock with the rock guy slurping up Kagome was not something I was ready to see as a teenager.
Yeah, well, they really intensified that too. Like they had sounds that were like you really were like, this guy's drinking blood.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, what was that? I must have got a clot in the straw.
It's like when you get a strawberry milkshake.
Oh God.
Yeah, but then also seeing like a monster like sexually assault a woman, like sucking on titty and stuff. I was like, whoa, that was cool.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
I want to be this monster.
I might not be able to get porn, but I can get this.
Exactly.
And the creators, Broken Compass Comics.
Yes, sir.
You can check out the video of the creative team.
Yeah, it's just me talking.
Yeah. That's why I always like to see the video either like on another channel that has you on, or just I'll just watch it myself and make sure it's not just the creator talking about the book, because I'm going to be talking to one of the creators about his book.
Fair enough. Well, and I've yet to have anyone on stream, which is fine by me. I really don't want to watch it, but I've yet to have anybody play that video. Like almost everybody plays the trailer, which is better anyway. But no, that was James's idea. He's like, oh, how about you just introduce us on a video? I'm like, okay, I guess I could. Well, partially because I suck at like talking about myself. So, and I'm pretty much the main creative person, the creative team pretty much. So I have my colorist, and then James doing the lettering and editing. So that's us three. That's the team.
The three amigos.
Yep. And if only we could get to this 10,000. This book would come out. We were going to make a whole other book.
It's like the bastard shoved Christmas up your ass.
Exactly. We couldn't leave that. We were just going to call it Bastard Chef Christmas. We're like, well, we have to add, if you're gonna make it vulgar, just spell it out.
Put it right there. It's like it's all very 90s colors and.
Well, maybe this time next year we'll put this out under Broken Compass anyway, just for the fun of it. But yeah, it's not looking like we'll get to that 10,000. You never know. We did extended another 30, so we do have some time. But yeah, if we did get there, it would be fun to make that. James and I started writing, and it was a blast.
And I'm slacking here. I hadn't put the link in the chat. But Mo Biggs was here for quite a while, and Mo didn't put the link in the chat either.
He didn't drop the link. Oh man! And then now he's never going to. We talked about westerns, scared him off. It's kind of like when you see a stray animal or something.
And
one wrong move and they're gone.
And here's the link for the Broken Compass Comics webpage too.
Yeah, thank you for that. There you can see. It hasn't been updated in a little bit, but we do have some things coming out 2023 that we're working on beyond just Magnificent Bastards and Unconditional Shove. So, and then there's also a link to merch store. Buy a cool Unconditional Shove shirt. You can get that color cover on a long sleeve T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I had a gal buy one and shared pictures. I was like, oh, looks pretty cool. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for. Oh, that's right. It says home. I'm like, I could have sworn I brought that up just to slap on the big screen, and I'm like, but I can't see where. Oh, it just says home.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, there you go. You're bringing up the BCC website. Yes.
There you go. Did you draw?
If you scroll down, I did not draw that logo. That was there when I joined up with James. So, and I don't know who he got to draw that, but I always loved it. So those are the two books so far. James closed down the campaign for Magnificent Bastards. The book's nearly complete and about to go to print. He had a few issues with his interior artist because he lives in Brazil, and Brazil has become a war zone pretty much. So.
Oh yeah.
But that said, he's getting very close now. I think he's just got a couple more pages and they'll be good. And then you click on those, will take you to campaign pages. But there you go. That's the black and white cover, a little more expanded. And yeah, then we highlight the different people who are doing things with Broken Compass, and the About Us, About, and then we got the store, the comics show, well, those two books and a couple others that are going to be coming out. One called Spermicide, which is James's buddy, so I don't know much about it, but the title alone makes me laugh. So
it sounds like a book that would inspire you to go watch the shit show with B Rose.
Spermicide?
Yeah.
Well, I know when they release that, they're going to call it Broken Condom Comics.
Broken Condom Comics, yeah. To the lady in the market with the 6 kids, wondering why somebody threw condoms in your basket, you're welcome. So I'm looking at the store now and seeing the Bastards Forever T-shirt. You get the One Bastard hoodie.
Yep.
You get the black. You get the T-shirt and long sleeves with both of the Unconditional Shove covers.
Yep.
You got the Magnificent Bastards T-shirt, the Bastard and the Walrus hoodie, and more importantly, a pint glass and a coffee cup for the morning after.
That's true. You bookend your night and day with the coffee mug and the pint glass. I think the one that sold the best, though, was the broads come and go, but bastards are forever.
Yes.
Sold a few of those. I actually have one.
I was like, oh, that's a good shirt. I'm going to get one of those.
Broads come and go. Bastards are forever. Yeah, so James's work already started work on Magnificent Bastards #2, which is he can't help himself. He shares everything with me, so unfortunately. I mean everything. No, he shares lots of what's coming up with Magnificent Bastards, and that book's insane. It's awesome what he's cooking up.
Chris says, hi, I'm Odin. I dressed up and sing in my car, buying my book, the Meet the Team video.
That's pretty much what it could have been. That said, I do want to shout out Demir. He's doing great colors, and then obviously James editing and lettering. James's lettering is really, really, really good, and so that was a huge thing. Having him just be like, "Yeah, well, I'll do the letters on him." Like, yeah, you will. So it is more than just me. Like I like what I add is the base, but these guys really added a lot. So I know, Chris, we'll get those shirts.
Oh my God.
I keep bugging James about that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How about the Hermicker Diamonds, bitch, are you for real t-shirts?
Yeah, that was there was a classic stream on 80s Made Consumer where we were talking about this. It's Crystal Head vodka.
Oh yeah.
Dan Aykroyd's approved vodka, which I'm getting further down. I have been enjoying it. It's not bad. I don't even like vodka. But Crystal Head vodka is filtered through Herkimer Diamonds. And we were on the stream watching Dan Aykroyd talk about this. 80s Made Consumer goes, Herkimer Diamonds. I know that. There's a Herkimer mine, which is basically where they're just pieces of quartz. They're calling them diamonds. They call them Herkimer Diamonds, but that's quartz that you can dig it out of the ground in this place in upstate New York, apparently. And so we were laughing our ass off about that. And then I can't remember. Oh, they mentioned dolomite. And that's where the bitch are you for real?
Oh my God.
So yeah, man, Fisk made this great image of a dude sporting a t-shirt with a guy who worked on the Crystal Head vodka for Dan Aykroyd, like the brewmaster or whatever they call him, the vodka master. His face, and it says, Herkimer Diamonds, bitch, are you for real? That was the best. But he did a mock-up with this black dude sitting on a chair wearing the shirt. And then our shirt was going to be the model wearing the shirt sitting on a chair.
Those aren't diamonds, those are cubic zirconias.
Yeah. They're not even, dude, quartz is less than cubic zirconia.
I'm like, oh my God.
But he was so proud of the fact. He's like, and that was Dan Aykroyd's idea. So when you're hearing the brewmaster guy, the vodka dude, he's like, we filtered this and made it the best vodka you could ever buy. And then Dan had this great idea to filter it through Herkimer Diamonds. It was just one of the silliest things. We had a blast on that stream. It was one of the funniest times I've ever had.
Diamonds. Really, Dan? Really?
Yeah. Well, Dan Aykroyd is so serious about everything he says is so intent, and it's like Herkimer Diamonds. Yeah, like, geez, man.
So the biggest thing I noticed about the store merch page was that compared to like other merch pages, whether it's, a campaign or somebody's YouTube channel.
Right.
Everything here is like really reasonably priced.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, obviously you want to do as good a price as you can and still try to cover yourself at least, so, but a lot of this is more just for the fans, obviously, because, if you're not really a fan, chances that you buying merch are slim, but you never know. Some people do. But that said, we're not making money on these. Yeah. It's more like kind of breaking even, but it gets it out there. So that's why it's more like so try to keep the prices low. I wish that long sleeve was a little cheaper. I think it's dumb that they charge so much more, the people who make long sleeve shirts, and it's like it's just a little bit more material on the arms. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I get it for hoodies, they're thicker material, all this stuff, but like it's a long sleeve shirt. But that said, that's actually my favorite. And that's
the big thing that stuck out was the coffee mug, though, because I've seen, coffee mugs with, a logo or design like on one side, and it's like,
25,
$24.99, $24.95, whatever. And I'm like, how big is the coffee cup? Because I mean, my coffee cup is a big beer pint glass. So
right.
I'm like,
well, and the other reason we could keep it low, like we're going through.
We're going I just through go to the dollar store to buy them.
Well, yeah, you could get dollar store coffee mugs all day long.
Oh yeah,
we're using Teespring, which means we don't have as much. We don't really have say on the quality control. So again, that's also why it's cheaper. Because if you put it on a campaign page, you're kind of hoping that you have someone local, you can actually like see the quality and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that may be also why. And just things on campaigns end up costing more. So the other thing with this is like you use Teespring. Like I said, you don't have the quality control, which sucks. But on the same hand, from our end, we're not having to fulfill it. It like gets ordered, they have it made and shipped. So
yeah.
So it's convenient for us, but again, if we were, which we are going to eventually using our own screen printer and our own sublimation or whatever process for the mugs and thing, then it might be a bit more expensive at that point.
Yeah. Chris says, even though Dan had us filter the vodka through Herkimer Diamonds 3 times, we couldn't find data supporting it did anything. So we did it anyway for Dan, the brewmaster.
Yeah, and the comment before they said that brewmaster looked like a hostage video. That was the thing we kept laughing about. Can I have my wife and kids back, please, Dan?
Please, Dan.
Yeah.
We'll buy Ghostbusters again. We don't care. As long as it's not the one with the girls. That was terrible.
Yeah, I don't think Dan had anything to do with that except selling the rights.
Yeah, really. Like, just give me money.
Yeah, you took the check.
I have to buy those Herkimer Diamonds to make my vodka.
That's right. Herkimer Diamonds ain't cheap,
Yeah. What are you going to do if you choke on a Herkimer Diamond?
Well, that was the thing. You hear the brewmaster guy. He's basically like, you can almost hear it in his voice. And just when we think we couldn't get it any more pure, Dan had this brilliant idea to filter it through Herkimer Diamond.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah, it was a blast, though. And that became lore so much so that's why I bought that damn bottle, was for when we launched, the night of the launch. I was drinking Herkimer filtered Crystal Head vodka.
Oh, yeah.
So like I said, it's pretty good. And that's coming from someone who doesn't like vodka, so take it for what you will. But
and it's a cool shelf prop too. So
yeah, forever I'm gonna have a cool crystal skull,
which is going to be a million times better than that Indiana Jones movie.
Yes.
We're going to be safe from the nuclear bomb inside this refrigerator. And
right.
And you will be dead too.
Yes. Let's everybody try that when we get nuked. See how it works. No, Mo, speaking of Mo, he had like a great comment when we were talking about that. He says, Dan Aykroyd, if this Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is going to be as big a hit as I think it's going to be, this vodka is going to sell like off the shelf so fast.
Oh my God. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out and talking about just about anything today. And we know we got to go because you have another show to be on.
That's true. So if you guys want to follow me over.
Some bogan guy.
Yeah, the top of the hour will be on Bancroft's stream. talking with him, So we'll see how that goes.
Did you see his post where he bought Mel a weed whacker?
I did. I thought that was hilarious.
Man, when you're not looking, she's going to use that on you.
Yeah, I call it the tallywhacker.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so if anyone's watching wants to follow me over there, I don't know. I assume you're wrapping it up here, Will.
Yep, we're gonna wrap this up so you can have a little bit of a break in between.
A breather, yeah.
You can get some Crystal Skull and
I might just do that
and some tobacco and get a head start. I'll probably be in the chat over there while I'm working on putting this up on the podcast platform.
Nice.
Once it's up there, I will share it and tag you in it.
Sweet. Well, thanks again for having me, man. It was a fun time. And we could do it again, or maybe just do the quiz show again. I always feel it's a good idea to challenge that their shadow punk. I edged out that victory because you gave me the layup answer, but I should have won anyway, because that first question about the Seattle star who died early, and I said Hendrix, and he's like, nope. I'm like, no, Hendrix works for that. I'm sorry, it's not the answer you're looking for, but
it's still the answer.
It's a answer.
It's
a lot of those musicians in Seattle die young.
Yeah, it's like, I got to go see this band now. Why? They're always playing. Because that singer's going to die any day.
Right, you got to catch him while you can. Well, I mean, I get why he wanted Andy Wood. I think that's his name, the Mother Love Bone guy. But like he said, before grunge, and I always pictured him as in the middle of grunge. So even still, my answer was better in my mind. That said, and then when I got that daily double, I was going to bet it all because I knew the answer, and they talked me out of it. So that's another reason.
And then, lucky me, I got rickrolled.
Yeah, you got rickrolled.
I got rickrolled and lost another 500. I'm like, oh, this is just like going to the real casino.
Right. Rick Astley shows up and screws my whole night up.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. So we want to thank everybody that came and hung out in the chat.
Yes, thank you all.
With all his different personalities, accounts. Right. Same for Mo Biggs and Ray and everybody else that came in and popped in, and we will catch you all later. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, be thankful, enjoy it.
Bounce over to the Bancroft Show and hang out and find out even more interesting facts about Odin and Crystal Skull Vodka.
Oh yeah.